This is Sports Overdrive with Taylor Jones.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sports Overdrive, June the 13th, 2014. My name is Taylor Jones, and I want to say personally thank you again to everyone who's listening to the show today, whether it be online, in your car, on your iPad, iPhone, any smartphone. Thank you again for tuning us in this afternoon. Our first guest is probably one of the most local guests that we've ever had on the show thus far. And he is a former Beulah Bobcat, and he's a former baseball and football player at Beulah High School. He currently attends Point University, where he has won not one, but 2 All-American awards while punting for the Point University Skyhawks football team. It's David Strickland, and he's going to be joining the show to kind of talk about what he's up to these days and how he got to be where he is now, which is the punter for the Point Skyhawks, and also what we can expect to see from the Skyhawks football team this season. So without any further ado, here's David Strickland on Sports Overdrive. Joining us on Sports Overdrive now is a former Beulah Bobcat. He's also a current Point University football player. He is the All-American punter for the Skyhawks. It's David Strickland. And David, how are you this afternoon?
I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And David, you played football and you graduated at Beulah High School just down the road from Valley, where I'm sure a lot of people on the west side of the Chattahoochee River know that school very well. And while you were there, you played different positions. So what was your time like at Beulah, and what was it about special teams that interested you enough that you spent a majority of your time working to become better?
I really enjoyed Beulah. I was a 4-year starter there. I started off my freshman years, had all the kicking and punting under my belt. As I moved into my sophomore year, they kind of changed me a little bit. I was going to handle all the kicking and punting, and they also wanted me to try other positions. I moved as a tight end as my sophomore year. I started as a tight end sophomore, junior, and senior year, and also had all the kicking. Also played varsity baseball, 4-year starter, still hold all the hitting records at the high school as well. I was actually known more for baseball than football. We really struggled when it came to football, but we had a really good program. And so baseball was really the way I leaned toward for going to college and everything. And I really enjoyed baseball, but football was always that back burner. I just had a really good leg and really did what I was supposed to do with football. And I really just always enjoyed watching the kickers and the punters. I was always fascinated when I was little, watching how high the football goes, how far they kick it. And I really just paid really attention to it, and I really fell in love with it. I started off very young, trying to kick the ball just by myself, just out in the front yard as a kid, just having fun with it. And I noticed, I was okay at it. I could make an extra point, and I could make field goals, and I could punt pretty well. So really got into rec football at Beulah, just kept trying to stick with it. Finding myself as a freshman, being very young, and you don't normally see a lot of freshmen jump in being, starters, even if it's in the kicking game or anything like that. You just normally don't see it. And I was kind of thrown out there as being that young and expected to, make extra points, punt the ball very well. And it just kind of settled for itself. And Beulah Beulah always took care of me. That's always, even today, I'm right down the road from Beulah. I'm always there. Really love coming back where I come from. They always, welcome me with open arms. Really enjoyed it where I come from, and it's a blessing that they support me the way they do.
And when it came to recruiting, you had offers or at least the interest of a few major schools, but when it came down to it, you decided that you wanted to play for hometown Point University. So what were some of the recruiting tactics that the coaches used to get you to play for your hometown school?
I had a little bit of a different route when it came to going playing college sports. We went and played college baseball out of high school. I ended up having an arm injury from pitching, and I really didn't like being away from home at the time. And so I was really looking in to coming back around home, and really the only options around here was Point, who was brand new, moving down here at the time, maybe Columbus State or something like that, and you had Auburn. And so I looked into Auburn. I had some, had looks from Auburn and, UAB and Alabama, had them look at me as well. But I just really wanted to go somewhere where I felt like I had a good chance to jump in and play, because I never played college football before, so I had no idea what I was into. I had no idea if I'd be any good at kicking the football at the college level. So Point came to my house. That was really interesting. All the other college recruiting trips I had to go to them Well, Point came to me. They sat in my living room and recruited me, and they really just made it feel like home. You know, being a specialist and being new to college football, when you can feel comfortable going there, it makes it a whole lot easier, and it's a lot easier to perform when you're comfortable in an environment like Point.
And with the program heading into its third season of existence, you've represented the program well with not one but two All-American honors in the NAIA and NCCAA, and you average well over 40 yards per punt. And Coach Payne, he's done a great job with coaching the special teams at Point thus far. And you've worked with a few other big-name specialists. So what are some of the advice that Coach Payne and some of the other players that you've worked with that they've given you that's made you a better punter?
Well, Coach Payne does a really good job with me. He really focuses on the small things that I have to maintain and focus on. And he also has more of the mentality side where you have to focus on what you're doing, attention to detail, really focus on the small things. So Coach Payne does a really good job with that. You know, he's always on me. You know, he expects me to be a leader to these other guys down here on the special teams. And that's sometimes a challenge because he's not always with us. You know, he coaches another position, so he kind of puts it on me a little bit, and that helps out a lot at the same time. And, you know, there's a lot of guys around here that's helped me out. Terry Daniel would be my punting coach. He is from here, from Valley, Alabama. He was a two-time All-American at Auburn University, still holds all the records down there. He was the one that really took me under his wing and developed me into what I was and what I've developed into. He took me from kicking a ball 40 yards with, you know, a 4.4, 4.3 hang time, which is, you know, average in college, just your average guy. He really developed me into being that guy that can average over 50 and hit a football 5 seconds, you know, to 5.5 seconds, which is, you know, that's going to get you to the next level. There's a lot of other guys that have really helped me get to where I'm at. Brian Jackson, I help him run camps, and he is a kicking coach out of Dothan, Alabama. Does a really good job of getting us out there. He, you know, helping us with the little small things that kickers and punters wouldn't think would really mess up their technique or anything. And at that, you know, I've worked with some of the big-time guys, Cody Mandel out of Alabama and Stephen Clark out of Auburn, and as well Cody Parkey out of Auburn. All those guys I'm really good close friends with, and they've really helped me out when they can because they've been on the biggest level that there is. All three of these guys played in the SEC and are now currently in the NFL. So they've been there and they've done that. They stay busy. You know, they're in the NFL now, so they stay really busy, and they always take their time. When they're back in town in Auburn or Tuscaloosa, they always make time to get with me some. And it's really interesting to be with these guys because the first time I ever punted with Cody Mandel out of Alabama, I didn't really know what to expect because here's the SEC all-conference punter coming in, and here's this NAIA All-American who's on a smaller level than the SEC, and we get out there punting with each other, and we're just the same. We both hit the ball very similar. We both got really good legs, and that's really a confidence booster for me being on the level that I am, is that I can go out there with the SEC guys and do just as well, if not better on some days than those guys can, and they really help me out as much as they can. I'm lucky to have them help me out.
David Strickland, punter for Point University football, joining us today on Sports Overdrive. And Coach David Rocker, he's back for his second season as Point's head coach. He won 3 out of the 10 games he played last season. So what's it like to play with a coach that has an SEC and NFL background that Coach Rocker has?
Oh, it's awesome because he knows what we're going through. He can test us at times, and he's going to sit there as a father figure and help us out when we need it. I mean, if you're out there doing what you're supposed to do, obviously he's going to be there and support you. But if there's days, we all have the days where we go out to practice and we really just don't want to be there, and he turns it up a notch and makes sure he gets on us, and we're going to be out there. We're going to work for the time we're out there. Really wants us to focus at the time we're out there. And he really stressed to us, this is our team, and we've got to take charge of it, and we're out there together. So we always spend time with each other, with teammates-wise. Even the coaches spend a lot of time with us. He's making sure that we bond and we become a family, not just so much of a team, but we're a family together. And that means a lot to a program and to all of us, because a lot of these guys, we don't know each other. We don't know where each other come from. And when we're there together and we're practicing, it's always not practice. We'll get out there. We'll go bowling sometimes. We go swimming at the pool sometimes together, and really bonding with each other to get to know our teammates. And that really helps out. And that's a really good job on Coach Rocker's part. He does a great job with us. not just on the field, off the field, in the weight room, all the way around, as well as in academics. He is really big on us doing what we're supposed to do with academics, because we're supposed to be student athletes, not an athlete student. He does a great job staying on us with our academics and schoolwork.
And looking back at last season, the three impact players, in my opinion, were Rufus Mason on offense, Matt Hicks on defense, and, of course, you with the special teams. All three of you guys put up huge numbers last season. Some of the talent is God-given, and the other part is coaching. So what are some of the drills and conditioning programs that your coaches are using to make sure that everyone is at their peak when the season kicks off in August?
Summer, it's a little bit different than NCAA. Most NCAAs, they're on campus during the summer. Well, NAIA level, we're not on campus during the summer. So everybody's at home. And it's kind of one of those deals where you have to, the coaches are going to say, what are you going to do when nobody's looking? And is this kid going to go out there and work hard during the summer to get better, come in during the season and be in shape and be strong and ready to go? And you can really tell who's worked during the summer or not. We get a season workout guide for the summer that breaks it down and what we're supposed to weight lift every day, conditioning wise every day, and as well to a part of what we're supposed to eat every day, what we need to put in and out of our body. So the summer is a little bit different because they don't really have a hold of us so much. They certainly do as much as they can. I'm always receiving a text from Coach Payne or Coach Rocker, Coach Wood, whoever it may be, stressing to us, you need to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. Make sure you're ready for the season when we report for 2 days.
Like we mentioned a few moments ago, Matt Hicks and Rufus Mason are back along with you. Who are some of the other Skyhawks that we should be on the lookout for this season?
Well, we've got Rod Tolan coming back. He's been a safety for us the past 2 or 3 years. He's a really good leader on the defense, a really good guy. He's not afraid to get on to his teammates. He loves playing the game, and he's really smart about it. He knows to make adjustments to a defense when he needs to. He's a really smart player. Our offensive line this year coming in, I feel like we've got a really good offensive line with Dominic Freeman and Tufu, which is our guy from Hawaii. He'll be coming back in. I feel like we got a really good offensive line, and also Austin Hodge will come back in. He's about to be a sophomore, and he is actually from Beulah as well. We played high school ball together. So I feel like we've got a really good offensive line. And the quarterback position, we've got 3 guys going for the job right now, and all of them bring a different style of play to the system, and it's really interesting to watch them. I know I've sat there many times and just watching each one of them, and I wouldn't really be surprised if all 3 of them contribute in a certain way, because they all got different features that they can go out there and do and help provide for the season.
Last question before we let you go. If there were a few words that you could say to the citizens of Valley, Blanett, Beulah, any of the other communities surrounding Point University, if you could say a few words about the Point University football program to get them on the Point bandwagon and to come out to Ram Stadium and support their hometown college football team this season, what would you say?
This is about to be the 3rd season we're going into, and if you've watched a little bit of the program develop over the years, the record may not have shown much improvement, but overall we've made a huge improvement. And the first year I came in, that was all freshman guys coming into a college program, about to play college guys that have been in a weight room, that have been in college weight rooms training for years and years, and we come in, young, and then after a year of college training under our belt, and that freshman class moves up to sophomores, we make an improvement. As in last year, we're moving up. We're stronger, we're bigger, we're faster. We look a lot better each year we build up. And looking into this year is really just, to me, going to be a really big year. We're in a conference this year. We're in the Sun Conference, and it's a conference where we've played a few of the teams, and we've been successful. And if you look at it, we really have a good chance to be successful in this conference the first year we are in it. We got a really good chance to go out there and compete for a conference championship, and it'll be great. That'll put really Point on the map. We're going out there the first year in a conference with a very young program and going in a conference trying to compete, not just compete, but we're trying to win the conference. As Coach Rocker says, we're trying to go after some hardware. We're trying to get a ring out of this year. So it's really interesting to watch. We're a young program, but we're coming up really big. We're coming up fast, and it's really interesting to watch us. Great coaching staff here at Point, some great players, great people over at the academic center and staff here at Point. It's exciting to watch, and this year should be a really big year for us football-wise. I think we could really turn some heads after this year.
David Strickland, All-American punter for the Point Skyhawks, joining Sports Overdrive, discussing Skyhawks football as well as how he got to be where he is today. And David, I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your day to join the show, and we wish you the best of luck this season.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
And that was two-time All-American punter David Strickland from Point University joining Sports Overdrive today. We talked about what he's up to now and some of the accomplishments he has been able to achieve since starting at Point University. Also talked about the coaching staff and what they're doing to kind of get their players ready for the 2014 season. We also talked about some other players other than Rufus Mason and Matt Hicks that could probably open some eyes around Valley and West Point this season. So really great talking to him. And if you can, go out and support the Point Skyhawks all season long. They play their home games at Rams Stadium in Valley, just inside the Sportsplex, and they'll also open their season on August the 28th against the Charleston Southern Buccaneers. That game will be in Charleston, South Carolina. We'll have more show in just a few moments. This is Sports Overdrive.